Grace and peace to you from the Lord Jesus Christ and from the sanctuary of Second Presbyterian Church in Indianapolis, Indiana, to the warmth of your homes. Welcome to worship. Beloved, this is the day that the Lord has made, and so we gather across distance, bridged by the grace and power of God to rejoice and be glad in it. We join our hearts and minds in worship on this first Sunday in the sacred season of Lent. Lent is a time when we remember God's presence in the wilderness of life, a time when we confess our brokenness, when we release our burdens, when we rest in God's relentless, redeeming love. This year, as a community of faith, we will seek to relent during this holy walk, to find peace in this season of letting go, to trust God will carry us and carry what we cannot. Perhaps that means letting go of guilt or shame. Maybe that means putting down the weight of idolatry or judgment. And as you'll hear in today's message, it begins by forfeiting control. As a guide through this season, be on the lookout for our Spire magazine. You'll find pages for you to journal and write personal reflections. You'll read submissions by our Board of Deacons that speak of God's presence in the wilderness. We invite you to use this publication to reflect and relent this season. And at secondchurch.org/Lent, you'll find many more resources, service videos, a digital copy of the Spire, and much, much more. Lent is a season of discernment. Maybe that means discerning God's timing for the journey ahead. In Thursday's Take a Second, I shared with you that Reverend Dr. John Kopich plans to retire at the end of April. John's decade at Second and his service across more than 4 decades of ordained ministry are a beautiful witness to God's pursuing call and joyful grace. And now, as those who follow Jesus into the wilderness, as those who trust the provision of God, let us begin this season in worship.